Exercise: Arithmetic project with constructors. Exercise objective: create arithmetic exercise with constructors. At the end, we should observe the following. So open the project, arithmetic project, click on File, Open Project, Lesson 8, Arithmetic Example, and click on Open Project. Copy the project to a new location, so right-click on the project and click Copy. The project name is Arithmetic Example, and the location is Lesson 9, and click on Copy. Close the previous project. First, we identify the project to be closed, leaving the cursor on the project to identify it. And we identify the project in Lesson 8 because we're going to close it. And we close the previous project and leave open the new one. So right-click on the arithmetic example of Lesson 8 and click on Close. We're going to modify the arithmetic class to add the constructor as follows. So right-click on the arithmetic class and select Open. Modify the code, the package operations, the class name is arithmetic, we have the attributes A and B, and we add an empty constructor. Remember that if we add a different constructor to the empty one, this constructor is not created anymore, and we must create it if we need it. We add this constructor without any arguments, we open the curly braces and we close it. And we add the constructor with two arguments. So we pass the argument 1 and the argument 2 of type int. And we are using these arguments to initialize the attributes of the class. So the first argument, we assign the value to the attribute A. And after that, we assign the value of the argument 2 to the attribute B. And close the constructor. We continue coding this class. The next method takes new values, not the attributes of the class. So in this example, we define the method add, and we are receiving new values, in this case the argument A and the argument B, and return the addition of these two values. But we have a second method that takes the attributes of the class to make the addition. Adding more than one method with the same name is known as overloading. So this method is overloading the add method. We will study later this topic. So we add a method with the same name. In this case, it returns an int. It's called add, and it doesn't receive any arguments because we're going to use the attributes of the class. So we return A plus B. We close this method and we close the class. Modify the arithmetic test class to add more objects as follows. So right-click on the name class arithmetic test and click on Open. And we modify this class, package operations, arithmetic test. We have the main method. We create an object of the arithmetic class with the empty constructor. So we create a first object called obj1 of type arithmetic using the empty constructor. After creating the object, we call the add method and receive the return value. So we declare a variable called result of type int, and we receive the value of calling the add method, passing the arguments 5 and 4. And we print direct use of adding without using the attributes of the class. And we print the result. If we call directly the method add without arguments, the value will be 0, since the attributes of the object has not been initialized. Since the constructor with arguments was not used, but the empty constructor. So the result of adding using the attributes will be 0. But now we create an object with a constructor with two arguments. we create an object of type arithmetic, but we are passing two arguments in the constructor, 2 and 1. And we assign the reference to the variable obj2 of type arithmetic. And we print the result directly. By directly calling the add method, we return the value of the adding. So the result of the adding using attributes will be 3. So in this case, we're putting into practice the calling of the method directly without using the attributes of the class and passing arguments, and after that we are using the constructor with two arguments and using the add method but without passing any arguments. So this method is using the attributes of the class. We close the main method and we close the class. We execute the project, right-click on arithmetic test and run file. And the result is as follows. Direct use of adding without using attributes of the class. The result is the addition of 5 plus 4. So the result is 9. And the first result of adding using attributes is equal to 0, because we are not passing any values to the attributes of the class. So the attributes of the class are equal to 0. But after that we use the constructor of two arguments. So we pass the values of 1 and 2 for the attributes of the class. So when we call the add method, the result of this addition will be 3. Exercise conclusion. With this exercise, we have implemented the use of constructors in Java. Constructors allow us to create our objects with custom values from the moment of the creation of the object. A constructor is a type of method that can only be used when creating an object and must be called the same as